Hey, what's going on guys? This is Sendaz here. We know landing shots like this is a great way to win an encounter, but today I want to discuss a topic that has been hit up in the comment section quite a bit actually. It is how and where to find good positioning as an aggressive recon. Positioning is going to be a greater asset than having pinpoint accuracy. It does not require the reflex of a god, it can take down any good player when put into good practice. This is why a gamer with better game sense than reaction time will beat always a younger, maybe more talented but less experienced player overall. Today we'll cover good positioning when playing close quarters, how to get good positioning when just literally out in the open, and finally discussing moments of engagement throughout. Moments of engagement might need a video all on its own, so I'll do my best to cover out throughout the overall video and where it is applicable. Positioning can also be learned by trial and error, but hopefully this can set you up for success and on the right path. Every skilled player always wants better positioning as it gives you the ability to improve your KD and KPM. Because positioning is what opens up opportunities. Imagine you had 100% accuracy, but your positioning was so bad, well, it didn't really open up any opportunities to use your accuracy because you just always died and didn't get the jump on anybody. Granted, nobody can really truly be this bad. But now picture having good positioning and it opened up 30 opportunities for kills. And even if you had 50% accuracy, well and you solidified 15 of them, that's still great, that's fantastic. You were able to capitalize on more moments than perhaps, let's say you only open up for 20 opportunities and you had 50% accuracy, then that's only 10 opportunities where you can capitalize on the moment. So we're going to try to improve upon that today. Remember, sometimes patience in an encounter can actually be your strongest asset, because this can open up a window for you where it wasn't really there before. Perhaps your enemy is taking a different route to go locate you. And also in other cases, maybe the enemy would just got impatient and decided to go look for another target, or just didn't know where you went. Also in other cases, just rushing in can have a positive result, shocking and awe the enemy who's not ready for you. You really have to feel the enemy for really that engagement. The questions you always ask are, does this enemy feel accurate? Are they aggressive and sporadic? How many enemies are there? What resources do I have? Like, do I have a knife? Do I have a grenade I can push? Do I have smoke? How many friendlies are nearby? Who can pick me up? Who can get me back up to full for the encounter? And I'm going to go out to the open, or do I have another option for cover? If I'm going out to the open, then probably should not take it. I should probably find another route to win. These questions are extremely important and valid to keeping you alive and how to proceed with various engagements. Speed is important, so while you can have these fundamentals, it's important to execute with purpose. As a good friend of mine said, funk metal, move with purpose. Let's talk about how to handle close and quarter engagements first. So thinking through maps like Devastation or tight, small areas, the fastest response is really just once you are out there, open a flare. But for close walled maps, this really isn't much of an option. This is where you have to think like an assault player. Don't think like a sniper. Think like an assault player, but maybe with less mobility or shots, and you have to have more of that accuracy. Now, when thinking of yourself as a sniper, always have your crosshair centered on where the enemy might be, because you don't really got another shot to readjust your aim like an assault class. Have your sniper out first for the first headshot, and of course if you're feeling uneasy, maybe you're low health, then of course pull out the pistol or the magnum to try to get a little bit lucky. Use audio cues for enemy fire footsteps to help locate where the enemy might be located, essentially. Move to areas where you can't be surprised. Never move to areas that are long and open like this. I'm going to pause it and freeze on the screen so you can see it. If someone popped out, I can't reasonably save myself. I can't duck for cover. I can't move around to say, okay, now I'm going to wait for the enemy, maybe get my health back up. But I move the opposite direction. You'll see that I had cover on the left side. This opens up an opportunity to retreat or confuse the enemy. Maybe they might take a different route. Maybe now they're confused. They'll have to put the crosshairs elsewhere. You can possibly get the jump on them by having them make the mistake. These details, while small, are very important to getting the upper hand to avoid an enemy getting the upper hand on you. And of course, if you now know the options in the open hall, then the only thing you can really do if it's just wide open, you don't really have an option, is just don't rush out, wait. Now, if the only option is to rush out, don't rush out alone. If you're going with a squad, make sure you have a whole squad with you. Make sure nobody's peeking yet. Make sure there's no grenades. Wait for, if there's somebody bipoded, wait for them to reload. You can always tell once somebody's opening fire, and then once they have to reload, they'll take a moment. Let's say they didn't go through all their ammo, but they can't kill everybody. They can't kill all of you. So the chances of survival are most likely going to be extremely low, but you can improve upon this. Remember another rule of thumb, never peek the same area twice. Juke the enemy and poke from different angles to confuse them. Change the elevation. Peek from above, peek from down below. Don't make it so easy. Now, if you know the target already has his crosshair centered on your head, then even if you're the fastest sniper alive, you will always lose, because the enemy player, even if he's a complete potato and a complete noob, all he has to do is just press the mouse button. Even a cat can hop on your keyboard or mouse and just hit the button and just get you killed, you know? So if you were in the enemy's shoes, you can clearly see why this is a lot easier and why would you play into the enemy's hands. I know on my streams I get stubborn and I do this all the time, like, oh yeah, I'm a demigod, I can do this. But even good players will just go for it and just kind of go for the shock and awe approach. Sometimes this works, but it's not always going to work. And of course, it's kind of 50-50. You have to feel out. If you can tell they're a potato, then you're like, maybe I might risk it. But then, again, changing elevation, peeking from different corners is always going to net you a higher probability of winning. This goes into moving. You need to ensure your hitbox is as small as possible. When moving, always cut corners swiftly, but always slowly ensure you're checking corners ready for an engagement. Always assuming that somebody can be in every nook and cranny, because literally everybody always will be. So let's recap. Cut corners and make your hitbox small. Never hit the same area twice unless as being tactful or if the enemy knows that you already do this. So if they already can predict that you're going to move elsewhere, then maybe try to juke them a little. Let's say you're doing a 1v1 encounter on Rust and they say, oh, he's always going to pick a different encounter. Switch it up a little bit. Know your enemy. When making big decisions, move swiftly. Never move through open areas, so big corridors where you can't fall back anywhere. And of course, when moving, always have a fallback cover. Essentially know your exits. And a big one, be patient. Being patient is actually what gives you the most kills. Odd when actually playing aggressively, you would think that it would be the opposite. You think you always have to go as fast as humanly possible, like Sonic. But this approach is what always causes death. If you waited for just one moment to gather a bit more information to act on and wait for them to make the mistake, then you can capitalize it. Here's some interesting info. Most of your deaths are usually because you made the first mistake. The enemy didn't have anything to do with your death, you just made a bad call because you made it easy for them. Now, taking this principle, we're going to cover how do I play aggressively when the map is just an open field, when I don't really have anything to do. This can apply also for the assault class, so we're going to apply it to the sniper. The benefit as a sniper is that you can kill anybody from any range. There's always cover. I will show you some examples. I'm going to use still the test range here, but first remember that people do have to die and respawn and run back in. So I'm going to throw this at you and say, if you kill 6 of the enemy, and there are only 10 in the game, this gives you a huge opportunity to make some movement. Movement is allowed when chances of survival are at the greatest. Always weigh your options and possibilities of dying. Now, in some cases, you may not have really good odds, even if the whole team is dead, such as, bombers, mortars, anything like that. These are some facts of the map balancing, and you just kind of have to accept it. But I advise never default on this, as this covers up sometimes your gameplay that you could improve upon. Always have the mindset that I can overcome the obstacle because it will give you greater chances to learn, and you're not shortchanging yourself as a player. Learning never ends, so do not sell yourself short of free knowledge. Even as I type this, they're really great reminders. Now let's cover the examples of cover in the open. Hills. Hills are really your great cover for making your hitbox smaller. Now as you can see, from my head is the only thing really popping out. If I move left and right, I can make myself a harder target compared to just proning right on it. There's always some sort of lump, trench, hill that you can use to push. They don't always exist, but if they don't where you're at, then pull back further, kill some people, then push up to a location where it can be. Random objects across the map, any object can cover and provide room to move in. Now when out in the open and waiting for peeking is not really your best option. You'll let the enemies reload, and if they're going to get bored at some point and try for another target, again, it goes back to waiting for the enemy to make the mistake. Elevation. Figure out which elevation is going to net you some options on getting kills and or peeking in different spots. Even having the low ground as you move in can make you a harder target. You can kind of see that here. Juking but not moving in right away and trying to shock and awe an enemy can be extremely effective. And also places people don't go. Finally, best to head into a spot where your whole team may not be, to maybe you can get, as a sniper, some long-range kills to make it easier for them to push. The mindset is to put what is close quarters location, but on a grander scale. So just remember that for overall position. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I know this is quite long, but it's very vital to your success as you're playing as Aggressive Recon and always playing the objective. And again, outthinking the opponent. I feel this is much important with your accuracy. If you had perfect positioning, accuracy fixing is really the easiest thing to solve. If you need to fix your accuracy, then I do have a video located down below that you can check out. It's a drag shot tutorial, and improving your aim can be done by just straight out practicing time. If you have any other tips that you want me guys to cover, then I'll cover them next video. I'll probably cover more overall engagements, when to push, when not to push based on health or anything like that. Maybe do like a top 5, top 10 tips video. Please let me know again on the comment section down below. You guys seriously have been inspiring me to make more content that helps you guys. So that really excites me. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.